Okay, how many times have you looked at your to-do list and just felt like it's a monster, like it's going to eat you?
Totally. You feel so behind all the time.
Right, like you're always playing catch up.
Yeah, we've all been there. But
Yeah.
what if I told you there are some surprisingly simple
Oh, yeah.
and even funny ways to just tame that to-do list?
I like it. Monster.
Stick with us on this deep dive, and we'll dig into some productivity hacks.
That might just change your life.
At least make you laugh trying.
Exactly.
And what's interesting here is we're not talking about the typical rise and grind
No.
advice. We're going a little deeper,
Much deeper.
exploring techniques that work with you, not against you.
Yeah, think of it like a productivity deep dive with a side of humor.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive is a conversation between two people who, while not productivity gurus, clearly know how to get things done.
And make it sound fun along the way. Yeah, they've done the research, but it feels more like a chat between friends than a lecture,
Right.
which I think is key to actually making these tips stick.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the first things that they bring up is the Pomodoro Technique. Now, you might be thinking,
What's that?
what does Italian food have to do with productivity?
Oh, that's a good question.
But stick with me.
Okay, but it doesn't actually involve pasta, right?
No.
I was going to say, after a productive day, a nice plate of spaghetti does sound good.
Always a good idea.
It's all about working in focused bursts.
Exactly, like 25 minutes of work,
Okay,
followed by a 5-minute break.
gotcha.
And then you repeat that cycle a few times, and then you take a longer break.
I see, so it's kind of like
Interval training for your brain, maybe?
I like that. The source material uses a great analogy.
Oh, yeah.
They compare it to sprinting versus running a marathon.
Ah.
You wouldn't expect to sprint for hours on end.
No one.
You need those strategic breaks to catch your breath and refuel. For sure.
And it's the same idea with mental focus.
It's all about those short bursts.
Right. Short bursts of energy can actually be more effective than trying to force yourself to concentrate
Much more effective.
for hours on end.
It's really tapping into our natural attention cycles.
Really?
Our brains aren't wired for sustained focus over long periods.
Interesting.
We kind of ebb and flow naturally, and the Pomodoro Technique acknowledges that
I see.
by building in breaks to help you recharge.
So those listening, think about that one task that you've been putting off.
The one that feels like climbing Mount Everest.
Right. Could breaking it down into these smaller Pomodoro sprints
I love that.
make it seem less daunting?
Yeah,
Could you actually get it done faster?
totally.
I think it's worth a shot.
Another technique they discuss is time blocking.
Time blocking, okay.
And it's pretty much what it sounds like.
Yeah, explain that to me.
Blocking out those chunks of time on your calendar for
Right.
specific tasks.
So like making an appointment with yourself.
Yeah.
Treating those work blocks like you would a meeting with your boss
Or
or
a doctor's appointment.
a doctor's appointment.
Right.
Love the way they put it in the source.
Oh, tell me.
They talk about putting yourself on the busy list.
Ah, that's good.
Like saying, hey, I'm unavailable right now, world, because I'm busy being awesome,
I love that.
getting things done.
It's so true.
So it's funny, but it really highlights an important psychological point.
It does, yeah.
Blocking out that time, you're making a commitment
To yourself.
to yourself.
Yeah.
Almost like you would with someone else.
It's like you're increasing your accountability.
Oh, I see.
It makes it harder to back out because it's right there on your calendar.
Staring you in the face.
Staring right at you.
That visual reminder is powerful.
It is.
Imagine opening up your calendar and seeing work on Project X just looking back at you.
Yeah.
So it's not just floating around in your head anymore.
No.
It's an actual block of time you've dedicated to it.
A concrete block.
Helps you stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked.
For sure.
Speaking of staying focused, have you ever heard of the eat the frog method?
Oh, yeah, that one's a classic.
And thankfully, it does not involve eating frogs.
No actual frogs here.
It's a metaphor
It is.
for tackling your most challenging task.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, the idea is once you've eaten the frog,
Yeah.
everything else seems
Easy.
easier in comparison.
A piece of cake.
Like clearing the biggest hurdle right out of the gate, and then the rest of your day feels like a victory lap.
You got it.
The source material really emphasizes the psychological benefit of that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like that sense of accomplishment.
You get it done early, you feel good.
Yeah, like knocking it out.
Sets a good tone for the rest of the day.
Boost your motivation for the rest of the day.
It's all about that momentum, you know?
Momentum.
You wake up, eat the frog.
Boom, you're already winning.
You're winning.
That feeling can carry you through the rest of the day.
For those of you listening, what's your frog? That one task you've been putting off,
Yeah.
that's looming over you.
Imagine how good it would feel to tackle it first thing tomorrow and just have the rest of the day feel lighter.
So much lighter.
Let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about batching similar tasks together.
Oh, batching. Love it.
This is all about maximizing efficiency and minimizing distractions.
For sure.
Because context switching,
Ugh, such a productivity killer.
I know, for me, it's just jumping back and forth between different tasks. It's like
Hard to focus.
hard to get into a flow.
Right.
Right.
The source material uses the example of email.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Instead of checking it constantly,
Uh-huh.
you dedicate a block of time
I
to
see.
handle all your emails at once.
So group those similar activities together.
Exactly.
It's like prepping all your ingredients before you start cooking.
Yes.
Makes the whole process smoother,
Much smoother.
more efficient.
So much more efficient.
And speaking of efficiency, let's talk about the 2-minute rule.
This one's so simple, but so powerful.
What is that?
If a task takes less than 2 minutes, you just do it immediately.
Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Right. Get it off your plate.
Those little tasks can really pile up,
They do.
create that sense of overwhelm.
Yeah, and by getting them done right away, you're preventing a mountain of small things.
From becoming a mountain of stress.
Exactly.
Plus, there's something really satisfying about just knocking those little things off your list.
Oh, for sure.
It's like a mini celebration.
Every single time.
Keeps your momentum going.
It does. It really does.
Boosts that sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely. And those small wins can add up to big results over time.
I like that.
It's all about building those good habits.
Right.
And creating a sense of control over your to-do list instead of it controlling you.
Let's talk about those big, hairy, audacious tasks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those ones that make you want to just crawl into your desk and hide.
We all have them.
We've all got them. Those projects that seem so daunting, we don't even know where to begin.
The source material offers great advice here.
Okay, I'm listening.
You got to break them down.
Break them down.
Instead of staring at this massive goal, focus on those smaller steps involved.
It's like that old saying,
What's that?
how to eat an elephant.
I know this one.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
So instead of trying to swallow the whole elephant, just focus on that next bite.
That next actionable step.
What's the next actionable step you can take?
Right.
So instead of write a book, it might be outline chapter 1.
Yes.
Research topic A.
Or even just write 500 words today.
Each step becomes a mini victory.
Exactly.
Right. And those small wins keep you moving forward.
Totally.
What big project are you working on, listeners?
Yeah. What's that elephant you've been putting off?
Think about how you can break it down.
Into those smaller, more manageable bites.
It's amazing how much more achievable something feels when you just shift your focus.
Totally.
Now, let's move on to a concept that can really be a game changer when it comes to productivity. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule.
Okay, I've heard of this one.
This principle states that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts.
Interesting.
It's kind of mind-bending when you first think about it, but
it makes sense when you apply it to your own work.
right. It's about identifying those high-impact activities, the ones that really move the needle.
Yes, the ones that really make a difference.
Not getting bogged down in the busy work that just fills up your time but doesn't actually get you closer to your goals.
The source material really emphasizes this shift.
What's that?
From feeling overwhelmed to feeling in control.
Like that.
By understanding the Pareto principle and prioritizing those crucial 20% tasks,
Yes.
you can actually achieve more
Right.
with less stress and effort.
So everyone listening, take a moment to look at your to-do list.
Yeah, really look at it.
Which tasks are truly aligned with your big goals?
Yeah, which ones are really going to pay off?
Which ones could be delegated, automated, or maybe even just eliminated altogether?
Sometimes it's better to just let go.
It's about being strategic with your time.
Strategic with your energy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Pomodoro Technique,
Time blocking,
eating the frog,
batching tasks,
2-minute rule.
Pareto principle.
These are all amazing tools for maximizing productivity, but there's one crucial element that's often overlooked in the pursuit of getting things done,
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
and that's rest.
So important.
Right, the source material actually brings this up,
It does.
and I think it's important to emphasize you can't pour from an empty cup.
Nope. Can't do it.
Productivity isn't about pushing yourself to the point of burnout.
Absolutely not.
It's about finding a sustainable rhythm
Yes.
that allows you to work effectively,
Yeah.
recharge regularly.
Come back refreshed.
You can't be truly productive if you're running on fumes.
No way.
So what are some things you do to recharge?
Oh, good question.
For me, it's getting outside, going for a walk,
I love a good walk.
reading a good book,
Yeah.
spending time with loved ones.
Oh, for sure.
Those things help me come back feeling refreshed
Absolutely.
and ready to dive back in.
For me, it's about disconnecting completely
Carly.
from work and just engaging in things that bring me joy and help clear my head.
Like what?
Playing music,
Oh, nice.
gardening,
Okay.
just being out in nature.
I like that.
These moments of rest and rejuvenation are crucial.
For your well-being.
Yes, and ultimately for my productivity.
And these things could be scheduled in,
They can.
just like other important tasks.
Absolutely.
Right.
Treat rest and self-care like non-negotiable appointments
I like that.
on your calendar.
It can make a huge difference.
It really can.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into these productivity hacks and time management techniques,
Let's recap.
let's recap some key takeaways.
Okay, already.
We've talked about the power of working in focused bursts with the Pomodoro Technique,
Giving structure to our day with time blocking.
tackling the toughest task first with eating the frog,
Minimizing distractions by batching similar tasks.
keeping those small tasks from piling up with a 2-minute rule.
And focusing on those high-impact activities with the Pareto principle.
And of course, we can't forget the importance of prioritizing rest and recharge.
Absolutely essential.
It's not a luxury.
Yeah,
It's a vital part of a sustainable and effective productivity strategy.
couldn't agree more.
It's a lot to take in, but remember, you don't have to implement everything at once.
No, take it slow.
Experiment.
Yes,
See what works best for you,
exactly.
for your work style, your personality.
It's a journey.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to productivity.
There isn't, no.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Absolutely.
The key is to be curious, try different strategies, and pay attention to what helps you feel most focused and energized.
So true. It's all about finding what works for you and allows you to thrive.
So as you continue to explore these ideas, think about your own productivity challenges
Yeah.
and how these strategies might help you overcome them.
What's been causing you stress?
What specific tasks or projects have been causing you stress?
Feeling overwhelming.
Feeling overwhelming.
Yeah.
How could you apply the Pomodoro Technique,
Time blocking
the 2-minute rule?
to make things more manageable.
Don't forget to prioritize those activities that align with your goals and values.
Those crucial 20%.
Right. That will drive the majority of your results.
Exactly.
By focusing on what matters most and working with your natural energy cycles, you can achieve more with less effort.
So much less effort.
Create a more fulfilling
Productive.
and productive life.
Absolutely.
Now, here's something to consider.
Okay.
As you continue your productivity journey,
I'm listening.
how do you define productive?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is it just checking off as many tasks as possible?
Or is it something more?
Or is it about creating meaningful work
Yes.
that aligns with your purpose and your values?
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day
Right.
and lose sight of the big picture.
But ultimately, true productivity is about using your time and energy in a way that brings you closer to your goals.
And creates a sense of purpose.
So as you experiment with these productivity hacks and time management techniques, I encourage you to define your own version of productive.
Oh, I love that.
Let that definition guide your choices and actions.
Because what works for you might surprise you.
Maybe it's the structured routine of time blocking.
Or the focus bursts of Pomodoro.
Or maybe it's something completely different that you just discover along the way.
The key is to stay curious
Keep experimenting.
and celebrate those small wins.
Because ultimately, productivity is about creating a life that feels both successful and joyful.
Exactly. And on that note,
What's that?
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored a variety of techniques.
From the classic Pomodoro
to eating the frog.
to the powerful Pareto principle.
And of course, the importance of rest and self-care.
We've packed a lot into this deep dive.
I hope you found it valuable.
And for everyone listening, we hope you found some valuable insights and practical tools.
That you can apply to your own life.
Remember, it's not about achieving perfect productivity.
No, it's about finding what works for you.
It's about finding what works for you and helps you create a life that feels both productive and fulfilling.
Absolutely.
And if you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please hit that like button.
And subscribe to our channel
so you don't miss out on future deep dives.
into more fascinating topics.
Be sure to leave a comment below letting us know what other topics you'd like us to explore in future episodes.
We love hearing from you
We love hearing from you.
and learning about what you're curious about.
And if you're feeling extra generous and you want to support our work,
You can buy us a coffee
buy us a coffee.
at buymecoffee.com/Jamie McAllister.
Every little bit helps us continue creating content that we hope you find valuable and engaging.
So as we wrap up this episode, remember,
What's that?
stay curious, stay focused,
And most importantly,
stay awesome.
until next time.
Happy productivity adventures. So it really makes a difference when you apply it to your work, you know?
Right. It's about figuring out those high-impact activities.
Ones that really move the needle.
The ones that move the needle and not getting caught up in just busy work.
Yes.
That fills up your time but doesn't get you closer to your goals.
The source material really emphasizes this shift
Yeah.
from feeling overwhelmed to being in control.
That feeling of control is so important.
It is.
I like that.
And by understanding the Pareto principle and, prioritizing those 20% tasks,
Right.
you can actually achieve more
More with less effort.
with less stress and effort.
Sign me up.
Right.
So for everyone listening, take a moment and look at your to-do list.
Really look at it.
What's truly aligned with your big goals?
The things that have the biggest potential payoff.
And which ones could be delegated, automated, or
Eliminated.
eliminated altogether?
Let it go.
It's about being strategic.
With your time and your energy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We've-
Pomodoro Technique.
Time blocking.
Eating the frog batching tasks. 2-minute rule.
Pareto principle.
Amazing tools for maximizing productivity.
They are.
But there's one crucial element that's often overlooked in this whole pursuit of getting things done,
What's that?
and that's rest.
So important.
You know, the source material actually brings this up.
Yeah, they do.
I think it's really important to emphasize, you can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't.
Productivity isn't about pushing yourself to burnout.
No.
It's about finding a sustainable rhythm
Yes.
that allows you to work, effectively recharge regularly.
Come back refreshed and ready to go.
So you can't be truly productive if you're running on fumes.
You can't.
What are some things that you do to recharge? For me, it's getting outside, going for a walk,
Oh, yeah.
reading a good book, spending time with loved ones.
Love it.
Those things help me come back and feel refreshed and ready to go.
I like to disconnect completely.
Completely. From everything.
In work, yeah. And just engage in things that bring me joy. Okay.
And help clear my head.
Like what kind of things?
Like playing music or gardening.
Okay.
Just being out in nature.
I like that.
Just moments of rest and rejuvenation are crucial
For your well-being.
for my well-being and ultimately for my productivity.
These things can be scheduled in.
They can.
Just like any other important task.
Make it an appointment on your calendar.
Makes a huge difference.
Huge.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into these productivity hacks,
Time management techniques.
time management techniques, let's recap
I'm ready.
some key takeaways. We've talked about the power of working in focused bursts with the Pomodoro Technique.
Giving structure to our day with time blocking.
Tackling the toughest task first.
Eating the frog.
Minimizing distractions by batching similar tasks.
Keeping those small tasks from piling up with the 2-minute rule.
And focusing on those high-impact activities with the Pareto principle.
And of course, we can't forget
What's that?
prioritizing rest and recharge. It's not a luxury. It's an essential part of a sustainable and effective productivity strategy.
I completely agree.
So it's a lot to take in.
It is.
But remember, you don't have to implement everything all at once.
No, take your time.
Experiment, see what works for you, your work style, your personality.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
The key is to be curious, try different things.
See what sticks.
Yeah, and pay attention to what helps you feel the most focused and energized
So true. It's all about finding what works for you.
and allows you to thrive.
So as you continue to explore these ideas, I encourage you to think about your own productivity challenges.
Yeah.
And consider how these strategies might help you overcome them.
What have you been struggling with
What specific tasks or projects have been causing you stress?
or feeling overwhelming?
How could you apply the Pomodoro Technique or time blocking or the 2-minute rule?
To make things more manageable.
Don't forget to prioritize those activities that really align with your goals and your values.
That crucial 20%.
Yeah, that'll drive the majority of your results.
And by focusing on what matters most
Yeah.
and working with your natural energy cycles, you can achieve more with less effort.
And create a more fulfilling and productive life.
Now,
What's
what's
that?
that? Here's something to consider as you continue your productivity journey.
Okay.
How do you define productive?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is it just checking off as many tasks as possible?
Right, like just getting through the list.
Or is it about creating meaningful work?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that aligns with your purpose and values.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day.
And lose sight of the big picture.
Right, and what really matters.
But true productivity
Yeah.
is about using your time and energy in a way that brings you closer to your goals and creates a sense of purpose.
So as you experiment with these productivity hacks and time management techniques, define your own version of productive.
Yes.
And let that definition guide your choices and your actions.
It might surprise you what works.
Maybe it's the structure and routine of time blocking.
Maybe it's a focused bursts of Pomodoro.
Maybe it's something totally different that you discover along the way.
You got it.
The key is to stay curious. Keep experimenting.
And celebrate those small wins.
Because ultimately, productivity is about creating a life that feels both successful and joyful.
I love that.
And on that note,
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We explored a variety of techniques.
From that classic Pomodoro technique to eating the frog.
To the powerful Pareto principle.
And of course, we can't forget about that rest and self-care.
It's so important.
It's essential for sustainable productivity.
For everyone listening, we hope you found some valuable insights and practical tools that you can apply to your own life.
Remember, it's not about achieving perfect productivity.
It's about finding what works for you.
And helps you create a life that feels productive and fulfilling.
And if you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please hit that like button.
And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future deep dives.
Into fascinating topics, be sure to leave a comment below, letting us know what other topics you'd like us to explore.
We love hearing from you and learning about what you're curious about.
And if you're feeling extra generous and want to support our work, you can buy us a coffee at buymecoffee.com. Jamie McAllister.
Every little bit helps us to continue creating content that we hope you find valuable and engaging.
So as we wrap up this episode,
Remember,
stay curious,
stay focused,
and most importantly,
stay awesome.
until next time, happy productivity adventures.
You know, it's funny, we often think of productivity as like
Rigid.
this rigid, serious thing.
Yeah.
But as we've been discussing, it can be
Playful.
playful and
Yeah.
even lead to...
Unexpected discoveries.
Right. It's not about forcing yourself into a mold.
No.
It's about finding what works for you.
What allows you to thrive?
Like we were saying earlier about designing your time.
Instead of just managing it.
Creating a life that feels aligned with
Your values.
your values, your goals.
And it can involve a lot of experimenting.
Yeah, maybe the Pomodoro Technique works wonders for you.
Okay.
Or maybe you find that time blocking gives you that sense of structure that you need.
Maybe it's a combination of different things.
Well,
Customized to fit your own needs and preferences.
the key is to stay curious.
Curious and open to trying new things.
Yeah.
And who knows, in the process of experimenting with these productivity hacks, maybe you stumble upon a new hobby.
Maybe you discover a hidden talent.
Or connect with someone who inspires you in an unexpected way.
Exactly.
It's the beauty of approaching productivity as a journey of self-discovery.
It is.
It's not just about getting things done. It's about
Creating a life.
creating a life that feels...
Rich and meaningful.
It's not just about checking off tasks, but about...
Crafting a life that you're excited to wake up to.
And on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
A lot of ground.
We've explored a variety of techniques.
From the classic Pomodoro technique
To the idea of eating the frog.
and the Pareto principle.
And we've also talked about the importance of rest and self-care,
Absolutely.
which is often overlooked,
But it's essential.
but so essential for sustainable productivity.
Couldn't agree more.
We've really packed a lot into this deep dive.
I hope it was helpful.
And for everyone listening, we hope you found some valuable insights and practical tools.
That you can apply to your own life.
Remember, it's not about achieving perfect productivity.
No, it's about finding what works for you.
And helps you create a life that feels both productive and fulfilling.
If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful,
Hit that like button
subscribe to our channel.
so you don't miss out on future deep dives.
Into fascinating topics.
Be sure to leave a comment below.
Let us know what other topics you'd like us to explore.
We love hearing from you.
And learning about what you're curious about.
And if you're feeling extra generous and want to support our work, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Jamie McAllister.
Every little bit helps us to continue creating content that we hope you find valuable and engaging. So as we wrap up this episode,
What's that?
remember to stay curious, stay focused,
And most importantly,
stay awesome.
until next time.
Happy productivity adventures!